an immediate action taken against the officers who were behind it. We are not going to withdraw this demand. And as I have said, the police must also compensate him, and we are demanding for 100 million. Our last demand is public apology. If these demands are not made, we don't bluff. If these demands are not made within 14 days, I can confirm to you that I will be approaching the court. I will also be going directly to the Police Service Commission. One message we want to pass clearly is that Quadri's case is not an isolated case. We are all discussing Quadri today because his case has come to public knowledge. So Nigerians should ask the DPO of Amokoko, how many more Nigerians has he falsely framed for armed robbery? How many more Nigerians has he falsely framed for murder? How many more people have they thrown false allegations on and have them remanded in prison or the custodial center? This travesty has to be addressed, and it is in the interest of the Lagos Police Command to understand the gravity of what has happened. As I want to repeat, we are not going to withdraw this demand, and we are ready to state this demand before anybody and authority in this country. So I thank you once again for coming out, and I want to appreciate all of you who have stood by him, who have shown patience with this family. Nobody should ever have to suffer what Quadri has suffered. I, as a lawyer, you were aware in 2022, I went to prison for 1 month in this country because I took up a case against the governor. Yeah. So I have a practical experience of what it means to be wrongly incarcerated. And that is why nobody should be innocent. No innocent person should ever be made.
At least. So Quadri is like a second time lucky. You know what people said, which I have been sort of seeing reactions, you know me. People are saying that the first thing they should have done, that family, when they came to that limelight, that fame at the time, was to have relocated away from the area. But, I mean, isn't that something that some people feel like everyone does? After they are better off from the trenches, they kind of feel like they don't belong to the trenches. They move to some upper class place. And if everything goes south in the upper class place, you go back to the trenches and all that stuff. I mean, but that's what people are saying. They said that was the first mistake because they said the feelings, or let's say the hatred towards that family by some dangerous people in the community in that area, like, was well, like, documented. So they shouldn't have been in the area that long. And that is why they have started a fundraiser for the young man. He was asked, what exactly would he love to do? Like, he's learning how to make, he's learning tailoring. Is that what it's called again, about fashion designing or something like that? They don't just decide doing some petty work just to earn some more money that to support himself and his mother. I mean, if you understand, right? So this will be the second time I'm actually hearing him say he wants to go back to school. 2 years ago, he said the same, and there were so many people handling him at the time. But anyway, that will be a story for another time. Now listen to this part of that conversation and the boy himself and his mom.
Should ever be made to spend a day in the prison.
Can we speak to Quadri about his experience in detention?
Well, you can ask, but he may not be able to say a lot.
Quadri, can you share with us what happened? Were you tortured? Did you come to under any form of abuse? What happened in prison?
How do you feel now that you're free?
What do you want to?
date of your police?
No, 17. Let's
What do you want to do now? Your lawyer has said that you learned tailoring, but what do you want to do going forward? You want to go to school?
Advice of the how do you
Can you let him learn?
I want to people should help my brother because I don't have anything, but they don't have anything to please, anybody can help me, please. And once you live well, you are staying, want to live well, please, anybody can help us. Thank Nigeria, my lawyer, my family, thank all of them. There was no promotion.
you can go ahead. How do the police case because the instance of child right violation in Nigeria?
Instance of what?
Police case brings us child right violation.
Well, there are many children like Quadri in our correctional centers. The juvenile justice system in Nigeria needs to be revisited. It needs to be revisited. And what I have seen from experience, this is not the first time. I've had these battles with the police before. The good news is that we have always defeated them. And this is not going to be an exception. What you will find in each of these cases is that when police arrest minors, most times they will falsify their ages. You heard the magistrate make that point. If they had disclosed that Quadri was 17, not the 18, the magistrate would have asked questions. The magistrate would have had interest in knowing why he should be sent to where adults are being detained. But they lied about his age. They lied about his age. They lied about everything. How can you say a young boy committed armed robbery and you now bring him, attach him to strangers and say they are his casemates, and the whole country is moving on? That is not civilization. And then you go back, the DPO possibly has children, he possibly has a wife in his house, but he went home to sleep. He's not bothered, and you are doing this to a child, people he has never met, he doesn't have any relationship with. You said that he's casemates for armed robbery. Meanwhile, even the touts that abducted him and brought him to you, they claim he was involved in street fighting, which is not true. And suddenly you brought him to court for armed robbery. This is an abomination. And the entire country should be alarmed. Should be alarmed. It's an embarrassment to the country. That is why I'm saying, if the commissioner of police is not part of this evil conspiracy, we want to see the action he's going to take against the DPO. We are not going to compromise on that demand. The DPO of Amokoko must be removed. We are not, under no condition, even at gunpoint, we are not going to shift on that demand. He must be removed.
Can you speak to the mother, please? Mommy, say English never shall be Yoruba. Yoruba, anyone, the value so. Báwo ni ẹ ṣe, báwo ni yín ṣe dùn sí, báwo lẹ ṣe ló ṣe lára yín sí lẹ ṣe rọmọ yín.
Inú mi dùn ìlú ìyọ̀dẹ̀ tó dúpẹ́ gan-an àkọ́kọ́ pẹ́ mi lọ́wọ́ Mrs. Ansan torí pé kí ni òun ni ẹni tí ó jẹ́ kí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí yìí torí nígbà náà ó lọ síbi iṣẹ́ ó mú aṣọ ṣẹ́gun lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ ọlọ́pàá kò ní àwọn bọ́ìsì mi lọ wọ́n láti ní àwọn ọlọ́pàá rẹ̀. Bàbá ẹ̀ kú sí ìfojú ọdún mẹ́ta lọ tí bàbá ẹ̀ kú torí owó tí wọ́n fún ẹ ló yẹ kí ra màálù ó yẹ kí ra rẹ̀ sí. Ìfọwọ́ bọ́ìsì ọmọ mi ni wọ́n fún. Yóò tẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ owó òtún ọ̀pọ̀ ilé nìkan la gbà níbẹ̀ tó ẹ̀fẹ́ rí sójú àtọ́ ìpè ìyẹ̀sì bó ṣe rìn ọmọ ilé ẹ̀ lọ síbi iṣẹ́ ṣó ti yé yín àmọ́ mo dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ẹni tó àdàdà lọ́ọ̀yà yìí. Èèyàn ni wọ́n àwọn méjèèjì àti Peter Obi Ọlọ́run ò ní pa báyìí ní agbára Ọlọ́run.
Mọ́mí ṣàkọ́bí ni àbí ọmọ mélòó lẹ́yìn?
My last born mi ni.
How many other children?
Ọmọ mẹ́rin péré náà ni mo bí obìnrin kan ṣoṣo ọkùnrin mẹ́ta.
Kí lorúkọ yín mà?
Mrs. Bọ́lá Àlàbí.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you.
I mean, that's the story. You can say he's lucky. And you can use his own story as a point of contact, right? If you want to understand how many children like that, yeah, have been lost into the system because of some corrupt officials who are so corrupt enough that they do not have any preferences or what have you, children or women or men or, you know, who have become victims of their evil trade, right? I'll leave you with that imagination, okay? So let's take a bit of a detour. And this time around, let's talk about, power or darkness in Nigeria. In 2015, when Quadri and the rest of the Al-Qaeda People's Congress, APC, Egbekegbe took charge of Nigeria. Nigeria was generating at the time over 9,000 megawatts of electricity and distributing how much? 6,000 megawatts of electricity. There's a record for it. Then Quadri came in. Before we could just say jack, Nigeria electricity that was never enough became even worse in epilepsy, like warapa. So Nigeria electricity or national grid started collapsing, like somebody suffering from chronic convulsion. Billions of your money, hundreds of it, trillions of naira expended in upgrading the Nigeria electricity. 8 years after that, Nigeria's power generation dropped drastically. I mean, drastically down to less than 5,000 megawatts of electricity. How do you industrialize with that? What happened to all the past investment? They generated darkness. Then another darkness took over Nigeria in 2023. I mean, it did not only sustain that tradition of darkness, they monetized the darkness. That's what they did. They monetized it. Tariff on electricity was removed or increased increased astronomically. They created bands, band A, B, C, D, E, F to Z. And that is called monetization of darkness. Adebayo Benkelemesi, the Baba Salah minister of darkness, under Tifnumbu Drogi himself, has now come out at a point he actually said they were building, solar panels that would then generate 19, they have 19 states in northern Nigeria. Oh, sorry, yeah, like the way they put it, not northern Nigeria, the north and the middle belt part of Nigeria, 19 states. So Peculiar Mess, Benkele Mercy, the minister of the Baba Salah, minister of darkness, right? Then came out and said they were going to add 19,000 megawatts of electricity through solar panel, solar power, right? Anyway, let's cut it short. Now he's promising again that forget about that solar panel, 19,000 megawatts, okay? By 2026 or now 2031, Tifnumbu would have increased the Nigeria electricity to 8,500 megawatts. That is their target now, like an ambition. Now, would you call that progress or retrogression? It is the state of Nigeria right now. So, let's hear what he has to say, right?
Demonstrated when we signed the Nigeria Energy Compact in January in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. This initiative, which is led by the World Bank and the Africa Development Bank, aligns with our aspiration to expand energy generation and access to our people. The initiative is called Mission 300. It's an initiative of the World Bank and the AFDB. And the target of Mission 300 is to extend energy access to an additional 300 million Africans between now and year 2030, out of the 600 million currently lacking access. When they decided on this, there was a research and that concluded that there are existing 600 million Africans out of about 1.4 billion Africans who lack access to energy. And they decided to reduce this by 50% within the next 5 years, between now and the year 2020. It's a joint initiative of WB and AFDB. And they are going to support this with resources. A total of $30 billion, $35 billion coming from the World Bank and $5 billion coming from the AFDB, which will even be complemented by donations from some philanthropic organizations like the Rockefeller Group in the US. So this initiative will be realized based on a 5-pillar strategy. Number one is expanding generation, strengthening utilities, that's the power distribution companies, incentivizing private investments, accelerating renewables, and boosting regional integration. We are all aware of the West African Power Pool, whereby there is a collaboration among all countries within the West Africa sub-region to ensure that there is improved energy security and energy transactions across the region.
Nuisance Lele.
All that talk because they want to add non-existing 4,000 megawatts. That's why he's speaking all those grammar that, you know, like all that nonsense, quoting all the jargons. That's how he talks though. He talks a lot of nonsense. In that same conversation, by the way, he also brags about, you know, the profit margin that the GENCOs, the electricity companies in Nigeria, recorded in 2024 alone. According to him, right, while the rest of you were paying for darkness, they were cashing out for real. He said over 700 billion naira was made for generating and distributing darkness. But isn't that lucrative? Anyway, this part.
And improve energy security. Over the past months, we have continuously made progress in generation through some of the initiatives I will be highlighting. This is key to achieve energy security. On 2nd of March 2025, Nigeria reached a remarkable generation available capacity of 6,003 megawatts, marking the first time this level had been recorded in the country's history of the power sector. Let me thank our agencies, our operators, that this was achieved during our time. We have crossed the bar of 6,000 megawatts for the first time in the history of Nigeria's power sector. That is not enough. This achievement was followed by a peak generation evacuation of 5,801.44 megawatts on 4th of March 2025, which also saw an impressive daily energy output, the highest ever, 128,370.75 mega hours per day on that very day. We've always been in 118, 119,000 megawatts on a daily basis, but we achieved 128. That is the highest energy ever consumed in a day since power sector came to being in Nigeria, and we are proud to achieve this. Thank you. Now, on summary, the average daily power generated and distributed in the past quarter of 2025 was 5,700 megawatts. Compared with what we met when we resumed office, average of 4,100 megawatts achieved in the third quarter of 2023. This indicates a growth of 1,600 megawatts, nearly 40% growth since we assumed office at the ministry. Thank you. This is very important to us. I came into office August 2023. And between July, August, and September, what we achieved was 4,100 generated, evacuated, transmitted, and distributed. And it's always been like that. Even though there were spikes in the past, it will go up, it will come down. It was not sustainable. And it took the country about 40 years. In 1984, when Alhaji Rilwan Lukman was the Federal Minister of Power, we achieved 2,000 megawatts of power generation. We took this to 4,000 about 2016.